back to Hardcore FBB Media. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hardcore FBB Media, new episode of the podcast. My name is Claudio, your host, and today I have a new guest, a special guest from America, IFBB Pro Women's Physique athlete Jennifer Dees. Hi Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and thank you for joining me today in this podcast interview. So it's an honor to have you here.
Absolutely, I'm honored to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So Jennifer, I would say the big things that I wanted to start this talk is your amazing pro debut that you had last weekend at the prestigious Chicago Pro, where you placed top 3 at the pro debut, which is an outstanding result. So how was it? Let us know. Tell us, please.
You know, it was kind of surreal. I mean, honestly, like top 5 is my goal, but I low key would tell people, man, if I could get that top 3, like it would be a big deal to me. So for that to have happened, feels very exciting. It makes me feel pretty excited about my future within women's physique, and the show was ran really well. It was really fun. I met a lot of wonderful women back there, and I honestly couldn't be happier with the result.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget that you got top 3, but the top 2 athletes are not just regular athletes, are 2 Olympians amongst the best in the world. So you're just there. So this puts you on the podium together with the 3 of the best, 2 of the best in the world. So you make it 3 of the best in the world. So this gives great hope for an Olympia qualification very soon. So that must be a really, really good feeling, I guess.
It is, and honestly, like because of the caliber of the athletes that were ahead of me, it did make it seem so much more exciting because, like you said, they're not just anybody. They're
Yeah.
people who've been to Olympia several times, and so it really kind of showed me like where I'm at. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a little better than I even thought. And so, like you said, like Olympia is obviously going to be my next goal. And I obviously think at this point that is a very possible thing for me pretty soon.
Absolutely. I mean, I have no doubt at all that you're going to make it to the Olympia. I've been following your journey on Instagram, I think since you turned pro. So, which was in 2024, am I
Yeah,
correct? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
universe.
yes, the universe. And if I remember correctly, you got the pro card not only women's physique, but also in figure. Am I
Yes.
am I right? So that was definitely something that stood out when you got that pro card. And then I followed all your progress through 2025 and now this prep, and I have to admit that I was really, really impressed by your physique, the progress you made. Actually, you looked like you were ready to step on stage. In the last few months, you looked so good that I thought, all right, she's going to step on stage probably at the New York Pro, or no, maybe she's going to do Pittsburgh. No, okay, so she's waiting, and then finally you did it at the Chicago Pro. Probably you wanted to wait your peak time to step on stage. But how long was this prep? Sorry, continue. Yeah,
Honestly, I think, oh gosh, I think we did, I want to say 14 weeks before
14
Chicago.
weeks.
For me, like we kept my off season pretty tight. I think one of the biggest things in my progress was that like I really just kind of handled my off season like my prep. You know what I mean? The transition to prep was like really easy because I was already doing pretty much all the same things. It was just like a little bit less food, a little bit more cardio. And so for us, like I tend to be ready early, and we wanted that to happen again here because my pro debut was such a big deal. We wanted to make sure we had time to test some peaks, test some looks, see where exactly we wanted me on stage. So there wasn't any question or rushing me into like
Yep.
getting as lean as possible. So we did a couple of weeks of like test peaks, and we kind of decided where we liked my best look, so we could come up with like a solid plan to make sure that my peak went really smoothly.
Yeah, and I mean, everything you did, I think, was absolutely perfect. I was very, very impressed when I saw the live stream last weekend, and I knew that you would definitely be among the top three. It was you, Paula, and Brooke. I mean, of course, you were on another level compared to the rest of the line. Everybody was great, but the three of you were definitely on another level. And my next question is considering that you got your pro card in 2024 in two divisions, figure and women's physique, what brought you towards women's physique in the end instead of figure? Yeah.
So with that prep, honestly, our goal was women's physique, because just with my structure and kind of the way that I grow, we kind of knew that women's physique would be the division that I probably would be growing best into.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, like I don't have quite the structure as some of those really top figure competitors. You know what I mean? Like my waist is small, but not quite as, there's just certain things about it that we knew women's physique would fit me a little bit better. I did both categories because I had started in figure, and that's kind of like what I had my sights set on. And throughout that prep, we kind of decided, as I got leaner, we were like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, we could probably do figure too. And me just being how I am, and I like to kind of make a little bit of an impression every time I'm on stage. I was
Fair
like,
enough.
hey, like, man, if I can get 2 pro cards, let's just get 2 pro cards. So
Yeah, and it
that's why
worked
I did
out
that.
perfectly. Yeah, yeah. Well, that must be. I mean, I've seen a couple of shows where the some athletes won the pro card on both division, but it's rare. Usually, yeah, they just focus on one, and then. But in your case, yeah, you did amazing. You chose to continue to pursue your career and do your pro debut in women's physique. And during the whole 2025, you've packed on a lot of size. Yes. And I mean, what really, really impressed me most is your condition. The way you came, the condition you came on the stage in Chicago was incredible. You could see it in your post on Instagram, especially your lower body, your legs. Oh my God. Yeah, that was incredible. It's rare to see such shredded legs with sides as well. So that was extremely impressive. So now you told me on Instagram, one of your messages we exchanged, you were saying that you're thinking, actually, you're already preparing for the next show.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll be doing Texas Pro, and like
Texas
honestly,
Pro.
Texas Pro was our like #1 goal. We knew we were going to do Texas Pro. We kind of suspected, based on my last prep of me being ready early last time, like
Mm-hmm.
that I would be ready early again. So once I kind of started to get conditioned, and we knew that I would be ready a little earlier, we decided to hit the Chicago Pro as well, just because we knew that we could make that one. But yes, Texas Pro will be next. That's in like
August, yeah.
a little over two
Mid-August.
weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mid-August,
yeah,
yeah, if I remember correct. And that one is Sarah Villegas' show, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah?
yes, yes,
That's great. I think it's one of the best show as
yeah.
well for women's physique. So yeah, it will be really really interesting. Do you know already if there is someone else confirmed or some other athletes that you may know?
I honestly don't even know who's going to be there. I knew a little bit more about who was going to be at Chicago than at Texas. I think I think Paula's still doing Texas, but I don't know if she's going to be doing WPD or women's bodybuilding now.
Well,
So I'm not sure
Yeah,
about that one.
yeah, because she made an announcement. When was it? A couple of days ago.
Yeah,
That yeah, she's gonna do women's bodybuilding in Tampa
yeah.
Pro next week. So that's gonna be interesting. Well, I mean, on this subject, what do you think is happening with the women's physique division? Because there's been a lot of talk on some athletes. They are saying that the standards of women's physique have changed, so the quality is higher, but at the same time, other people that are more old school from the Dana Lynn Bailey times, they think that there should be a distinct differentiation between women's physique and women's bodybuilding. Do you think that like what we've seen with Sarah Bradley and now with Paula, yeah, moving to women's bodybuilding, do you think that there is a little bit of confusing maybe in the judging because I see Paula winning both Chicago, not Chicago, sorry, New York and Pittsburgh, then coming second in Chicago and then moving to women's physique. Sarah Bradley, yeah, she won the Optimum and then she came fourth in Toronto. So there is a little bit of confusion. Do you think that there should be more like net distinction in the division? Or I don't know if I explained myself properly, but
So I think every division right now is evolving a little bit just because I think
yes,
bodybuilding is becoming a little bit more popular. You got a lot more people
yes,
doing it. And I think all divisions are, like I said, evolving a little bit. I think
yes,
also with women's physique, I've noticed in the last couple of years, I think it's become more popular again. I feel like
yes,
for a while there was very few athletes, especially at, like the amateur and pro shows. And so I think as the popularity is growing and you got more and more of these girls coming out there, and also the fact that we're just getting better at bodybuilding, so people are being able to get bigger and more shredded, that at the end of the day, like the categories are going to just kind of have to evolve with bodybuilding in general.
I agree.
And so like I think part of it's obviously depending on like who's judging as far as like what they prefer. But I also think that right now, like they're kind of having to kind of redefined what they're looking for in women's physique now that they're
Yes.
seeing these girls get bigger and more shredded. And I just think that they're kind of slowly but surely trying to like whittle that down to being very specific guidelines for the category.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, I agree, and also, I mean, considering that on the other hand, you have women's physique that is becoming popular, more popular, but the women's bodybuilding division seems like it's shrinking. On the other hand, there are less athletes. There are at the amateur show. There are no more women bodybuilders competing for a pro card, and even if there is someone competing, is one or two athletes, at least here in Europe. I'm not sure in the US, but I don't see new women's bodybuilding pro athletes being announced lately. So that's why, I don't know, maybe they try to move the girls that are a little bit bigger towards the women's bodybuilding, even though I believe that Paula can do well in both, in either divisions. Yeah, yeah. But in your case, I believe you fit perfectly the women's physique. I think. I think that yeah, more than Paula and more than even Sarah Bradley, which is looking great, but she's a little bit over how do you say to the limit with women's bodybuilding. So I understand why they are moving her to that division. But you could be the perfect advertisement for the division together with Sara Villegas and all the other top athletes, Natalia Coelho. How long have you been training? Have you been into bodybuilding? How long? When did you start?
So that's a little tough. I actually like did my very first show, and I did like in 2017, and I was a natural
Okay.
athlete, and I had a different coach at the time, and for me it was just because like I've been like a lifestyle coach for years. I had a lifestyle client be like, you don't know what it's like to lose weight. I wasn't overweight, so I was like, well, I'll just lose 30 pounds and do a show, just show you can do whatever you want to do.
Yes.
And then, I mean, I did decent. Like I won the regionals, and I did go to USA's, and I got like sixth or seventh place, which wasn't bad. But and then I was just in a different place in my life, and I actually from there moved into strongman competitions for like 2.5 years.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah,
Okay.
so I did that like all the way until like the very beginning of 2021. And then in 2020, March of 2021, I double fractured my back. And so then I wasn't really,
Ouch.
strength sports were just kind of not something that I would ever be able to do again without just compromising things. And I had a pretty long recovery from there. And then honestly, when I got back into kind of training again, I was I was coaching clients at the same gym as my current coach, and
Yep.
I was kind of struggling to be able to like lift again and figure out what I could do to still progress. And he kind of approached me and was like, "Hey, like, what's your plan now?" And I'm like, "I have no plans. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be in the gym." And he, recognized my potential, and he was like, "Hey, man, like, I'll take you on if you want to like go back into bodybuilding." And honestly, my experience with him as a coach has really increased my love for bodybuilding. He's taught me everything that I know about being a good athlete and how to run your life,
Mm-hmm.
to be a good bodybuilder. And from that point on, like I fell in love with it. I
Oh.
absolutely love the lifestyle. I love being able to push myself to limit, and it's just been a really really good experience ever since. So that's kind of how I ended up
Wow.
here.
That's incredible, especially after such a big injury, which for most people after an injury like that, it would be like, no, anymore. But you proved that you could come back and be even better. So well done. But
Yeah,
did
my
you? Yep.
I was
Sorry.
just gonna say my fire going into my pro card was I told my coach like, look, I've been like pretty much bedridden for like almost a year, so I was like, I need a win,
Yeah.
partly for my own confidence, and I was like, I need
Yeah.
to come out of this with a win and kind of prove that like, kind of no matter what happens, you can still kind of chase those goals, and so that was really the fire in me that pushed me into getting my pro card.
Oh, that's amazing. But your injury, was it during doing strongman, during a lift,
So.
or
I,
uh, or
yes and
unrelated?
no. So
Ah,
I had never had back pain, and then like I was like deadlifting a lot, and we were, and I was looking at, deadlifting, like 365, 380, like on a regular basis, doing a lot of sets. And I started getting some pretty severe back pain, and just me being me, like I just continued
continuing,
doing
yeah.
it.
Fair
um,
enough.
you learn lessons the hard way. And honestly, when the kind of the last straw was actually just kind of random, I was coaching a client, and I went to go demonstrate a back squat for her. I put the bar on my back, and I was like, oh, that's not
You,
good.
f-
I was like, give myself a second, tried to get back under the bar, and like within like a couple of hours, I really wasn't able to even walk out of the studio. So it was kind of
Ooh.
a fluke thing of like I was probably like driving myself into that injury, and then just at some point it kind of just broke.
Yeah, my God. Did you do surgery for that?
I did
Or
not.
okay, better. That's
So
good. That's good.
I didn't want to, because like obviously the only way that they fix that is with a spinal fusion, and I knew that that would really compromise my ability to ever be an athlete the way I wanted to again. And
Mm-hmm.
so I honestly I PT'd for like a year and a half. Like I did physical therapy, I kind of relearned movements. I had to kind of lift in a different way for a long time in order to be able to just at least be in the
Mm-hmm.
gym. And it gets better and better, over the years. And so I keep it under control, and I don't push it past its limit, because I know what happens
Fair
when that
enough.
happens.
Fair
But
enough.
yes,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do surgery, and my surgeon honestly was like, hey, like, you're young enough that if you can avoid it for as long as you can, like, let's do that.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And then with your passion, your persistency, and continuing on your journey, your dream, you overcome the injury, and then look where you are. So
Yeah.
that's really good. And that's another good thing about bodybuilding compared to powerlifting or strongman or this kind of disciplines is that you can always find a way to train without hitting that injured part. So you can still grow great legs without squatting, I don't know, 200 kilos and risk another injuries. Or same thing with the deadlift. You don't need to do it. I mean, it's a great exercise, but you can
Right.
always find, yeah, you can always find a way around. And right now you can train no problem, or you still have, you need to be very careful.
You know, we still, like, my coach is really good about like adjusting my programming based on
Yeah.
that, because sometimes I'll do a movement for, a month or a month and a half at a time, and I'll start to realize, hey, like, week after week this is becoming a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really good at finding something else that will train the exact same like muscle group, or the lengthened or shortened position
Yep.
that we're looking for, but in a way that like isn't going to bother my back. So we kind of just adjust my training over time based on how my back is feeling. And honestly, this last like probably year and a half, it's done pretty well. I've had my moments, but
Mm-hmm.
as long as I don't push it past where it can go, then I can recover within a couple of days.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And since you went back into bodybuilding after your injury, and then you started training with this new coach, and do you feel uh, how your mindset has changed in terms of goals, in terms of the way you approach things in life, getting back into bodybuilding? Did it have any effect into your regular life as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think everything, whether it's good or bad in your life, happens for a reason. And for me, there's been a couple things from it. Like, number one, my gratitude towards being able to bodybuild is so much higher.
Yes.
Being somebody who wasn't sure that I would ever be able to come back to being able to lift, even though sometimes there's a little bit of pain, I'm like, hey, man, I'm here. So it's great. And then the other thing for me is like, um, during that back injury, obviously, I suffered a lot of pain for a very long period of time. And
I can
so it was
imagine.
like, now prep, I'm always like, this is like really easy, because like honestly, compared to some of the things that I've been through, like prep is like not really that bad. And then also, like I said, like there's a gratitude towards even just being able to do that, and just kind of redefining what suffering actually even means to myself, because it's not, the way it feels, it's
So
not compared to the way it felt during my back injury.
yeah.
So it's made it easy. And then in my personal life, it's again gratitude and just pushing myself, and knowing that like I think that the just the very fact that I was able to overcome that and come out on top has given me a lot of confidence in order to pursue just anything that I want to do.
I love it. That's an amazing answer because it's very inspirational. Because we all go through difficult times, ups and downs, but sometimes, when you go down and you hit the lowest, it's difficult to come back up. But when you find the right motivation, the right passion, the right why you are doing it, then your level of pain grows, in terms like if you before, yeah, you could do it up to this level. Sorry, yeah, my English, sometimes I try to explain a concept, but I hope it makes sense. Then
Yes.
you raise the bar, and then you can keep pushing without feeling that effort or that pain that maybe you used to feel before. So that's very inspiring. So well
Thank
done.
you.
Well done,
Thank
well
you.
done, well done. I wanted to ask you, I mean, you kind of already answered this, but what, as an athlete, what is what's been, there's been a moment, yeah, you already answered, but a moment where you were feeling, actually, let's put it this way. During this prep, let's remove the part of the injury. Yeah. Did you have a moment during the prep that you felt most challenging, and you were at your lowest, you wanted to quit, but then you continued, and or everything was smoothly, and you did it all the way to the stage, just
Um,
feeling good?
I would say it was mostly smooth. I had moments though because like I just going into a pro debut was a little bit nerve-wracking for me. You know, I've always kind of believed in myself as an athlete, but as I watched WP grow and these girls get better and better, there was a part of me that was like, oh, like I have
Yeah.
no idea where I actually stand. So there was definitely parts of my prep where I was like a little bit unsure about how successful I would actually be. And so I hadn't really experienced that kind of like nerves before. And I was honestly pretty nervous going into the Chicago Pro. The first couple of days I was in Chicago, I was pretty nervous.
Yeah.
I kind of going into it, you know, the day of and the night before I started to kind of level out, but there were some moments where I had some doubts about how well I would be able to do on a pro stage.
Yeah, no, I understand, especially when you are about to do such a big experience that you care so much. You work so hard to get there, and then all of a sudden, it's normal that your mind playing tricks, and saying, "Oh, am I good enough? Am I ready enough?" Also, because it was your pro debut, so you don't know. I mean, you know who are the other athletes, but you've seen them on social media, and of course, on social media is different. They all look huge, enormous, and that's something I hear all the time by bodybuilders, that they think, "Oh, I'm not big enough. I'm gonna be the smallest on stage," but then once you get there, you realize that, well, you know what? I'm actually even better than them. So
Yeah.
I guess that could be your case. And honestly, and I'll repeat it again, from your progress on Instagram. Yeah, you definitely got what it takes to compete at the highest level in this division. Um, my next question is, if you have a time machine, and you could fly back in time, yeah, is there anything you've done in this sport that you would do differently, or you would do everything exactly the same, injury apart, in general? Yeah, is there
Um,
something that you would do?
I would have started a lot sooner. Like I would have started being
Okay.
a serious bodybuilder a long time ago. You know, I'm not super old, but I'm 34 and like there's a part of me
Ah,
that's
you're
like,
young.
man,
You know, the
but
best
there's a
bodybuilders are over 40, eh?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that's like, man, if I would have actually taken this serious, 10 years ago, like where would I be now? You know, that kind of thing. And then also just like the coach I have now, he's taught me like what bodybuilding is about, and that's what made me fall in love with it. And so like there's a part of me that's like, man, I missed out on like years of loving this and being able to run my life the way that I do now, and I just enjoy it so much. And so honestly it would just be more or less like me starting a lot sooner and taking it serious a lot sooner.
Fair enough. Actually, a few other athletes answered the same thing. Yeah, because they started a little bit later, but later than you. I mean, you still have got plenty of time to achieve. Considering that, I mean, you at your pro debut you got already that close to the Olympia is really a great start, considering that,
Yeah.
I mean, you of course you wanted to start in your at the end of your 20s, maybe 10 years ago, something like that, but still yeah, you are in your strongest years, so you are in your 30s still. There's still time, and you still, I'm sure all the um, all the goals, all the dreams that you set in your mind, you still have got plenty of time to achieve everything. So enjoy the ride, yeah, and make.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're right. I do still have a long runway, so I still am confident that we can still accomplish like everything that I've been trying to set out for.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. But do you have any other sports background, or you started straight in bodybuilding, strongman, or you did something else?
So I was a gymnast as a kid for like
Okay.
12 years. So obviously that kind of helped. And then I was a soccer player after that for several years.
Okay.
And then I did half marathons for a couple years. Like
Mm.
I've kind of done a little bit of everything, honestly. And then honestly, I just kind of went into lifting just for lifestyle, and then I did that one bodybuilding show, then strongman, and then back to bodybuilding. So I do have a fair amount of background as being an athlete, and I think that's obviously helped with like my mindset and my dedication because that's just something I've kind of done for a majority of my life.
Yeah, yeah, and also, I mean, what I love about bodybuilding is the fact that it gives you structure, discipline, not only for the. I mean, you must be structured and disciplined if you wanna follow the bodybuilding lifestyle, but at the same time, that mindset you project it towards every aspect of your life. So that's. Something that a lot of people that is not uh, they don't understand bodybuilding. They think it's just a bunch of people that go to the gym and lift weights and that's it, but it's much much more than that. So this is something that I really, even though I never competed, but I've always been in the gym all my life. I followed competition. I admire athletes and people like athletes like yourself, and I find all the journeys that all of you athletes do very very motivating and inspiring. So yeah,
When
it's
I think that's personally, I personally think that's why a lot of bodybuilders are like pretty successful in business and stuff like that, is because it gives you that structure, it gives you that discipline. You know, you do stuff when you don't want to do it all the time. I actually started my bakery business right after my last prep and running it
okay.
through this prep. So I own like a protein bakery where I do protein goods and
Wow.
things like that. And honestly, my discipline and my structure within bodybuilding and the ability to just run myself ragged basically all the time has made it a lot easier for me and feasible for me to actually open a business, run a business, and actually be successful in a business.
Fantastic. Would you like to mention the name of the business? I can put the link
Sure,
here.
yeah.
If
It's called Deez Gainz, so Deez and then Gainz.
okay,
And like
these
I said, I
gains. Yeah.
do protein goods, and my popular product is my protein cream pies. I do cream pies of all different flavors. I
Oh,
started with
nice.
the copycat of the Little Debbie, and that took off so crazy that I started doing seasonal flavors and expanding upon my flavors. But I do things like cheesecakes, muffins, cookies, things like that as
Oh,
well, special
awesome.
orders. So
Yeah, fantastic. So do you deliver in your area or all over the
so
US?
I ship all over the U.S. and to Canada, and I have a few wholesale accounts. So I have gyms that carry my products and a couple of nutrition shops that carry my products, so people
Mm-hmm.
can get them locally. Or I have a gym in Georgia that also carries
Oh,
my
awesome.
goods.
Awesome. Hey, maybe at some point, yeah, it will be good also here in Europe because
Absolutely,
yeah, we need something like that. So it could be a great plan for expansion in the future. Yeah.
absolutely. That's one of my goals in my off season is expanding that to be a little bit further of a reach for sure.
Excellent. So, I mean, you are inspiring all around, not only in the sports, but also in a successful life, and this is fantastic. Um, what else? What how do you think the world of female bodybuilding is moving in the future? Do you think it's because I go to shows, I hear that I can see it's getting popular, but at the same time, I see all these issues like not enough athletes competing in the amateur shows and getting pro card, so less new pro athletes, especially stepping on the stage as a women physique or women bodybuilding. Figure, yeah, it's still going, but for these three divisions, where do you see them from your experience as an athlete in America?
You know, I think they're going to continue growing a little bit. I think, obviously, with a couple other categories being like fit, model, and wellness, like those are really popular
Yes,
right now. And I think
yes,
the other thing I see a little bit is that, like, obviously, a lot of younger people are starting to get into it, and I think that in some ways, as far as like some of the conditioning and not getting pro cards thing is like, I think some of them don't necessarily know what it is to like actually be like a serious bodybuilder. Like they want to do the
yeah,
lifting, they want to do the stage photos and things like that. But at the end of the day, the nitty grittiness of the daily deprivation and having to work towards a conditioning level that is
yeah,
actually good for like a national stage, I think there's a lot of like misconception of that gap of that you have to
true.
close to be able to do to be good. And I'm kind of just hoping, as we grow and stuff like that, that that'll become a little more clear, and some of these younger athletes as they mature within this sport, they'll probably start to move towards that better conditioning, understanding that they need taking longer off seasons, actually take some time to grow size. Your first year bodybuilding, like, man, like a lot of people aren't going to be able to do very well, right? So like, especially as a female, it takes a long time to grow muscle, like a long
Yeah,
time.
of course,
And
of
so I
course.
think
It's
some
even
people,
harder. Yeah, much
yeah,
harder than the men. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like, just being patient, that patience of being able to wait until your physique is actually ready to diet and actually be able to present on stage at a muscular level and conditioning level that is going to provide a win for you. I think that that's just a gap that needs to be closed a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Because you can see on Instagram is full of this so-called fitness influencer that sell, I don't know, training programs. They pretend to be coach, but they have never even stepped on stage their life. So uh, that's when I see that I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
well. So that's I hope in the future, yeah, there's gonna be more recognition to the real athletes, the ones that actually do the work and know
Yeah.
what's going through the lifestyle of a bodybuilder, rather than having I don't know 100,000 followers on Instagram that tells you how good you are, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. Um, Also, uh, is there anything else you would like to add? Anything you would like to thank for what you've done so far? I mean, I don't know, your coach or friends, family, anyone that contributed this into this journey
Yeah,
of
I have a
yours.
lot of people to thank. I feel like doing something like this takes a village. Obviously, my number one person is my coach because he has turned me into the athlete I am, and I could
Yeah.
never have gotten here without him. His attention to detail is like otherworldly.
All right.
Um,
Yep.
oh yeah, it's wild. And then obviously I've gotten so much support into this. I'm somebody who kind of keeps myself to some degree, and I'm a little bit quieter, but I've had just people from all over come to support me and send me kind messages and support and
That's
believe in me,
great.
which has felt really amazing. The GASP and Better Bodies community has been really, really good to me and supporting me into my pro debut, as well as Core Nutritionals, a supplement company, as well, supporting me, Authentic Aminos, like all the people that it
Awesome.
requires
Awesome.
to be able to get me to stage.
Awesome. So yeah, you've got a really strong community behind you that is there cheering for you and supporting you. That's very important. So how's in in your area and in your I mean probably in your country, in the United States, in your state, what is how is bodybuilding viewed in general by people, especially the female bodybuilding side of the sport? Is there are there people that understand and know about it, or like in some places there are some countries that they have no idea what it is, they don't know, they don't they don't care? What is it like over there? Is it popular a little bit? Yeah.
It's pretty popular, and like I've been following it obviously for a long time, and especially the last 2 or 3 years, man, it's been growing. And
Yeah,
I think
growing.
the
Yeah.
other thing that's been positive is that, like, obviously for the more muscular female divisions, sometimes you can get a little bit of backlash for your size or your femininity and things like that. And I think that it's becoming more normalized, and I think there's a lot of females that are a lot less scared to like put on muscle and
Yes.
look a certain
Yes.
way. And so I think it's become a lot more of an acceptable thing, and I think that's a really awesome thing that's
Yeah.
happening here. And so I think that it's just going to continue to grow that way, because it seems to be just continuing to trend up in that direction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I know that in America, bodybuilding is a big deal. So of course, it's where the sport was born. I know Brazil is growing a lot. Here in Europe, it's growing. It's growing. But I'm originally from Italy. But in my hometown, it's more fitness stuff. Bodybuilding is not that, and people look a little bit strange when they see bodybuilders around. Where I am now, I live in London, in the UK. Here is normal, not
Yeah.
normal, but here is you see bodybuilders all the time. I mean, not that now I go out and you see, I don't know, 10 female bodybuilders walking. No, but you happen to see it happens to see athletes around and people. Actually, I was walking around here with two bodybuilders friends, female bodybuilders friends around here, and people were stopping, taking pictures. They were very happy. So the comments, the feedback was very positive, and I really, really like that. But depends more on the area, the country, the mentality that it is. So it's good that where you live, where you're from, it's very open-minded compared to maybe the village where I'm from, originally in Italy,
Yeah.
that is a little bit more close-minded. So
Well,
that's
and sorry, I moved to Idaho, from Idaho to Texas, and part of the reason I did that was because, Texas right now is kind of one of the capitals of bodybuilding right now. And man, you go to the
oh,
gym, and
right.
I swear 70% of the people there are bodybuilders. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously specific gyms around here, but like, it is very common, and there's a lot of pros out here, and it's a very strong like bodybuilding community out here in Texas, which I love. It's been really inspirational to be around some of these like really big athletes. I see pros all the time at the gym. I mean, Rhea Gale hangs out, works out of my gym
Ah,
every single day. You know what I
oh,
mean?
really?
And so you're just surrounded by these high level athletes, and for me, like that's also been a really cool thing for me to have. In order to like progress my career in bodybuilding.
Absolutely. Actually, you mentioned Rhea Gale. She's from
Yeah,
London originally, but
yeah,
she
yeah,
moved. Yeah, I saw her once at a show here, but when she was still in between here and the US. But then, yeah, she moved for good in Texas to pursue her career because that's the mecca of bodybuilding.
it
So
really is.
it
And she's
is.
the sweetest human.
Yeah, she's
I love her.
lovely. Yeah. Hopefully one day I will get her on an interview here. Yeah, but she's an amazing athlete, and the fact that she recently she got the Olympia title, it it was incredible, especially here in the UK that we were all cheering for her. So it was actually we had two from London originally that got the Olympia title. Once was her, and the other one was Shelley Mensa. She got the fitness Olympia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So actually, she lives 5 minutes from my house. So she lives
Oh,
very
that's
close
cool.
from here. Yeah, I'm doing some work with her. I'm building her website. Actually, it's finished. We're gonna launch it very soon. So yeah, so the community is growing, and I like that. I like that more and more people, especially between US, UK, and Brazil is another country where bodybuilding is a big deal. So I hope the trend keep going that way, because it deserves it. It deserves it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been following bodybuilding since the early 90s, and
Wow.
yeah, and I've always. I mean, I'm a big fan of the old school bodybuilding,
Yeah.
but because I don't know, it's a different type of look. But I love also the modern one. I think they are different. I don't know which one I prefer, but I love them both. So for me, I would watch shows every day. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I love it.
Okay. Yeah. Jennifer, we're running out of time.
Okay.
46 minutes. But is there anything else you would like to add before I let you go?
The last thing I just would want to say is that, like,
Yes.
male or female, if you are even think your dreams are out of reach, I would still just spend every single day working towards it. Don't think about the end goal. Think about every single task, one by one, every single day. Take it day by day, and pretty much anything that you set out to do is very possible.
That's a really, really good message. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
you.
Just before I let you go, would you like to give us a quick front double biceps for the cover of the podcast?
You want me to?
Yes, something like that. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much. I will make that as the cover. And I will post it. I'm going to edit and post it in the next couple of days. And then I will make a post and a story on Instagram as well and tag you. So
Awesome.
I will let you know. Perfect.
I'm looking
Thanks
forward
again.
to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well.
Cheers. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.